Comes back to kind of what we were talking about in the last segment. Karl von Clausewitz called it the paradoxical trinity. It's that union between the people and the military. That's the war ethos we have to reestablish. The people that are there is the leaders in the country, and we definitely see a lack of leadership in this country. And then it's the will of the people, and we see this incredible culture war and this dissension that we have within our country. And so if we don't reestablish that ideal of the rule of law, that ideal of equality and equal justice under the law. You can't say that one group of people are horrible and bad. For instance, the Southern Poverty Law Center just came out and said that parental rights groups are hate groups, or the Department of Justice saying that if you are a parent showing up at a school board meeting, you're a domestic terrorist. But yet we're not saying anything about Antifa. We're not saying anything about James Revenge, who has claimed all responsibilities for attacking churches and vandalizing churches and pro-life pregnancy centers. So yes, what is happening is that the progressive socialist left wants no political opposition, and they will do by any means necessary to eradicate, eliminate, and destroy that political opposition. Because leftism, Frank, you know very well, you've studied this, is all about coercion, intimidation, threats, and ultimately violence in order to elevate their position. And that's what we see happening in the United States of America.
Amen. And it has to be rectified. I think this is so foundational to everything else that we believe in and hold dear. One of the other things that I think we take for granted, Colonel, is our sovereignty.
Yes.
And as you know, this is under assault as well, from some of the same people. Let's be clear. The Biden administration is aggressively working with the Chinese Communist Party, frankly, and the World Economic Forum, and the European Union, and the
World Health
Organization, and Bill Gates and Big Pharma and others, to essentially create mechanisms for what they call global governance, including using the World Health Organization as the arbiter of our public health policy in the event of anything that is deemed to be an emergency. And it needn't be a pandemic, by the way. Anything. Gun violence, I think, is a prime candidate for this. What are your thoughts about both the advisability of ceding our sovereignty in this fashion, and the importance of resisting that effort?
Well, it's amazing to me because if there's anything that represents treason, if there's anything that represents a high crime and misdemeanor, it is surrendering the sovereignty of the United States of America, especially when you're president and you swore that you would uphold the laws of this country and uphold this Constitution. Well, number one, you're undermining the sovereignty of this country by having a wide open border. We have 5, 6, 7 million people who have illegally entered this country. The President of the United States of America does not have the enumerated power to create an app by which people can be paroled in another country so that they can freely enter the United States of America. And you're right. Surrendering our sovereignty to the World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, to the United Nations, these are high crimes and misdemeanors. And that's why I think a lot of us are frustrated when you have a Republican control of the House of Representatives and they kind of act as a grand jury, introduce these articles of impeachment, force the hand of the Senate to come over and conduct a trial and then make the case about what is happening, because we are seeing the decimation of this constitutional republic at the hands of people that are supposed to be representing us and keeping us safe and safeguarding this constitutional republic, which comes back to your disregard of the entire thing of the rule of law, which is the United States Constitution. So these are very horrific times. But again, who was watching all of that? China, Russia, North Korea, Islamic jihadists, all of them.
Which brings me back to where we began, sir. You touched on the border there as part of the threat to our sovereignty, the open border, that is. Coming across that border in some numbers, including into your state, Texas, as I understand it, are every day now significant numbers, 100 or so at minimum, of what are described as military age, unaccompanied young men who seemingly are wearing similar, if not identical, kits, backpacks and canteens and the like, and are described by our friend Michael Yon former special operator and distinguished war correspondent, by his estimation and direct observation, to be moving in groups up to and over our border, and then are being disseminated not just in Texas but all over the country.
Yes.
Is that a problem, sir?
Yeah, I mean, this is an invasion. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're talking about, hundreds of thousands, single military-age males. I mean, you can look at the reports and you see them, and you just wonder, why are these people coming across? And you're right. Recently, I was down in Kinney County, which is right between Del Rio and Eagle Pass, and down there walking, we saw camera footage of these groups of individuals dressed the same with this kit, but we didn't have the ability to track them down.
It's ability to track them down. We didn't have the ability to not only keep them from coming across the border, but somehow seemingly not to put them elsewhere around the country as well. Yeah. Colonel Allen West, the time has flown by, as it always
Hobos
does.
And bandits.
With you. I so appreciate your hour of
and aliens.
And your deviation from your Grand Parental duty.